Hello guys, today I would like to break down some of the concepts that we use in piano playing. Especially me personally, I like being an acoustic pianist, and today I would like to share with you some of the little nitty-gritties about playing some of the chords that I like playing. So in these concepts I'm going to cover some passing chords. In this concept, I'm going to pass some knowledge to you about voicing. I might not be so good in this, but we have guys who are actually good in the same field. But I just want to relay the little knowledge I have about the same. So we're all going to begin with the passing chords, voicing, and also diatonic playing. That's what I mean. So without wasting much time and without further ado, I would like us to begin. My name is Maisha Busy and welcome to the tutorial. Okay guys, welcome now to the keyboard view. We are here in the key of C major, and we are going to see and how to apply this concept even on other keys, like let's say C sharp, a D, an E flat, an E there, an F, a G flat or an F sharp, a G sharp or an A flat, an A B flat or an A sharp. Then we have to our 7th degree, which is a B. Finally, to our root position, which is our C. Okay, now when we want to apply extension chords, extension of chords is simply playing away from the basic block chords. For example, on a C major, this chord right here is called a C major root position. It's called a root position because the very first note is the parent note, which gives the key its name, that is the C. So when you play any chord and the first chord is the name of that chord, that becomes the root position, which is a 1. Now there are two other ways you can play this chord, sounding the same, sounding diatonically, but sounding a bit different because you rearrange the notes. Now watch what I'm saying. If I lift this root note here and just decide and play it right here instead of this, now listen to that chord. You might find as if it sounds different, but it's the same. Why? Because I just lifted this note and played it here. So in music we call this one a C first inversion. This is what we call a C root position. When I divert this chord and play it from the top, this becomes now a C first inversion. Now watch this. I lift this note and play, instead of playing this, I'm going to play this E on the top here. It sounds like this. So if you listen together, it sounds as if this scale is moving upward, or even if you move like this, you move downwards, it sounds as if it's coming downwards. Sorry. So this is called the root position, C major root position. This is C major first inversion. Then this is called C major second inversion. So together with this ones, you can use this inversion based on how a singer is singing. Like for example, if you say Lion of Judah. Now I do not like playing. I do not like playing an inversion that does not have the top of each note corresponding to the scale. This is what I mean. I will not play this inversion because the word la begins now from the 5th degree. Now this note here. So I will come here. It will be my preferred inversion of the same. So this is Lion of Judah, we worship you. Okay, now onwards. So the best way to be an acoustic pianist is to know which inversion you're playing based on what the singer is singing. Now away from that, now another concept I would like to talk about is the extension of chords. I do not like sounding basic. Like this is a basic C major block chord. Now what I do, if you observe from the C major scale degree, this will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the introduction of the 7th note to the chord makes it sound jazz, like this. So instead of playing this, I'll just extend this chord and add a 7 on it. So together like that, you hear it no longer sounds the basic. So what I will do on my chord, I'll come I'll drop this 1 and play this 7. Okay, remember this 7, I just bring it down here. Sounds like that. And on my left hand, you know what I'm going to do? I will pretend as if I'm playing the C major block chord here. And what I'll do, I'll drop this 3rd degree because I'm playing it right here. So together it's gonna sound like this. Munchy, right? Huh. Okay, so that is how I walk away from sounding a basic player, just like that. Okay, I know there are other knowledge out there about other experienced pianists out there will tell you on even how to make it even much sweeter, but for the basic beginners, guys, even intermediate guys, just go like this. And it is even much sweeter when you roll this chord like this, like that. Okay, so you can even go ahead and introduce a 9. A 9 is simply adding a 2nd degree of that scale, like this 1, 2. If you play a chord and add it to, in jazz music we say it's a 9 chord, so it sounds like a 9th chord. So now back to our 7th extension, like this, like that. So I will try and come here. I'll make my thumb play that. Then my left hand, I'll do this. Ah, it sounds good, right? Okay. Oof, it's good, right? Okay, don't worry about my voicing. Even my rolling is not that good, but we're still working on it. Okay, now, together, how do you now use that one in music? Now, do you remember the song of Andre Crouch, Through It All? He's only, oh, na 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 na. Then he does it, na na na. This is a C major 7 chord. So instead of continuing like this, na 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 na, I've been through a lot of sorrows. I don't remember the song well. So there's something else he does, a very sweet one. So he doesn't. Then. Okay? If you listen to that song, you hear the progression according to Andre Crouch, but we have different other pianists who do it in a different way, and it's so sweet. Comes out very differently. Now, how do I apply that now in music? Now, we have this song. Right. Our 7th extension chord, this one. Now there is another way you can play this chord when you're playing a phrase of music. You invert this 7 to become its flat 7. Ah, sounds good, right? Like that. Now, how do I apply this chord? So what I just did was just to play. This is my C major triad here, root position. I drop this 3 because I'm going to play it here. Okay, now remember I was playing this 7 here to sound like that, but this time round I want to flatten this note and play this flat 7 here, this B flat here. Oh, it sounds good, right? So how do I use this chord in music? Now, come to this song like you are Alpha and Omega. Now, remember? So it's good, right? We worship you, Lord. Okay, don't worry about there's so many things I'm doing in here, but I will show you very, very soon as time goes by. So let me tell you, now this is a C, so I will drop this. Okay, that is how it sounds. So instead of going to one, you are Alpha, this one, just drop this 1, 2 times. So you have a 1, a 7, and a flat 7 there. And now maintain your 5 here to the left. So together you have to do this. So this is, you have now to play an F9, U, then G9, then finally to this. So together, you are Alpha and Omega. Again, that flat 7 works better, works magic. So we worship you. This is a minor 4, alone. Now, to cover the alone, so this is a second degree. I'm playing it as a major dominant. You are worthy to be praised. Now this brings me to the next topic, passing chords. Passing chords is nothing short of a chord that you put in between two chords when you want to go to a certain destination. Let's say you're moving from a 1 to a 4. Between a 1 and a 4, you can intricate a chord in between there so that you have 3 chords. Now, for example, I have a destination of a 4 in mind, so I have a 1 here. Okay, so my next step is a 4. So that's a 4, right? So I'll have to intricate another chord in between there so that I have a pathway, so that it's a direct movement. So like, oh, did you hear that? Okay, so what I just did, I introduced what we call a tritone passing. A tritone is just a musical interval between a 1 and a 5, then you flatten the 5. This is what I meant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So G is on the 5th degree of a C major scale. So if I flatten this G, a semitone is just one step. I'll play this. So like this. So this interval here, this G flat note here becomes a tritone distance from a C major scale. So like this. So this only applies when you're using dominant chords. A dominant chord is when you introduce a flat 7 to that chord. Like for example, a C major chord, I extend it by adding, instead of adding a 7, I flatten the 7 to become this flat 7. That becomes a dominant. That is a dominant chord. So a dominant chord is simply a basic triad with an addition of a flat 7 in it. This, now you remember what I did? Like you are. This is a D major chord. I just added each flat 7. Remember, this is D. This is a 7th degree. This is a flat 7. So like, you are worthy to be praised. Like that, okay? Alright, now back to the tritone distance. A G flat, you just flatten the G and then you get this. This is a G flat chord. Just add the flat 7 here. And it becomes a G flat. Oh, everyone knows this chord is an F sharp, so I'll just call it an F sharp flat 7, or in other words, it's a G flat dominant chord. In writing, you write as a G flat 7, not a G flat major 7. There's a difference between a major 7 and a flat 7. Okay, so a 7th chord is simply when you add the direct 7. That is a G flat 7. But this is a G flat dominant. I hope we're together. So back to our passing. And so together, like that. So that is what we call, now this. What I'm just doing, I'm just playing another inversion of this. Okay? So this note right here, I'm going to play them with my left hand, and this, together with the 5 and the 1 here, or 1 down here. That will be a very good passing for you. So this will be, remember I'm doing the 7th just the way I told you before, like that. So, and right there you got your this one. I introduced this G here so that I will remain in the scales. So if I introduce this one, it will tend to sound like a C sharp diminished 7, right? It will be like a C sharp diminished 7, like that. But I want to think in terms of the tritone, like that. So always play your 7. Ooh, now to that 4, remember always play in terms of 4s. Now this is an F sharp, an F major. I want now to sound away from the major. So I'll just introduce this 7, of which I'm going to play it right here. right there. And even if you want it to sound even much better, just do the way it did. So the 1 and the 5, you remember that? And it all sounds so amazing like that. So together you have this. So you have your C. Then together you have this. Woo! I just added the 9. Okay? Now I'm even going to stretch this concept even much farther. Now I want to go to a 5. Here is a 5. So another way to play 5s, even being on another chord, on another key. So this being a G, let me play it from the root position so that you could see it. So this one is the root position. Let me play the second inversion. Then let me play the first inversion, then the root right here. Okay? So the easiest way to sound away from the major sounding when you're on a 5, just add the 9, this one. So it will sound like this. Right? Then another trick, let me show you another trick. Here. So on the left, just play the 3. On the G major scale, like this is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3rd degree. So when I play like that, woof, sound like that. Okay? Now when you are on a C major scale like this, so when you play the 5, just add the 3. Then it sounds away from the major scale. Like so. Then the 5. Now I'm going to show you a trick. When you are on the 5, then you demand to go to a 4. So you can do a chromatic drop. A chromatic drop is simply moving on a scale's semitone distance. That is a chromatic movement. Just move, you just play every note from any chord, from any note. Like that when you hear. Now, do you see that 7 from a G? Or do you see that G flat? I'm going to use this to drop to a 4. Okay, so when I'm here, so what I'm going to do, I might do the diminished chord of this. Okay, so I might do this. Okay, but now this chord, this is just a diminished. Okay, but this one demands something so that it doesn't sound like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the 5th degree, the 6th degree of F here, right there. Okay, so right there, so we're going to have this. So what I did, I just did my 1 together with the 7th, just like this. To the tritone, remember the tritone? Now to the 4, together with the 4, having a 6th degree, which sounds like a 2. Then to a 5, having a 3 right there. Then to the diminished, G major diminished 7, then a 4 that has a 2 on it, has a 6 on it, then 5, then 1 right there. But now all in all, you have at least a snippet of the same. Let me just go through, I just did the tritone, but I haven't gone in depth about tritone passing chord. So let me do dominant 7 passing chords. Now, I think you heard me say like, we give you the glory. So. Did you hear something? There are 3 chords I would like to introduce here. I want you to be very careful when you're watching them. from a C major scale right here, I'm going to take the second degree, which is a D minor. This is a D minor. This is how a D minor sounds, and this is how a D major sounds. Okay? A dominant chord is simply a major triad that has an extension of a flat 7 in it. Now, if this is a D, assuming this is a D major scale, that's a D minor natural scale. So, what is the 7th? Here, this is the 7th. If you flatten the 7th, you get this. And that is what I'm doing here. That's how it sounds. Now play down here. That's why it sounds like that, because it's on the bottom. Like that. Now I want to introduce this chord. This is what we call a D dominant chord. Another dominant chord on C major scale you can use is this. This is a D major, this is an E major, sorry, an E major triad. I'm going to add this flat 7 here. This is an E. This is the 7th from an E scale. Then that is the flat 7. Then another chord I would like to introduce. This one I know you know it. This is a C diminished 7. A C diminished 7 chord. Then together we have now this one. This one, at least you know it, is a C major 7 chord. So at least you know this chord. I introduced it. Remember when you did this? This one? Yes, that's what I'm doing, but now on another inversion, like you are Alpha. So we have this. So you are Alpha. This chord. So we worship you. This chord right here is an F minor 6, but I didn't play the 5. So we worship you alone. So you are this chord here. This is a D diminished, the D dominant. You are worthy to be praised. Now to the chorus. I'm just doing this. This is a flat 7. So we give you. Remember the G with the 3rd. We worship you. This is C major 6. Like you are to be praised. Okay. In the next topic, I'm going to show you now how you can do this voicing right here, like you are to be praised. Now, disclaimer: do not overdo this thing, because if you're playing to someone who does not have a good ear with scale, especially harmonic and melodic minor scales and diminished scales, you're gonna drop them away in the ocean. Okay, so that is it for today, and I hope you're gonna enjoy that.